would like to pray that Allah may grant him full recovery. At the moment it's not possible to go and see him because of his condition and he is still under tests. But inshallah when the time comes, we must always try to see that if possible, we go and visit him, see him. He might be at the moment not able to see people because he gets tired because of his old age. But when he has recovered, inshallah ta'ala, mu'mineen in good number should go to him for his ziyarah, to see and to be able to talk and communicate to a mujtahid. One of those very few who are still living as a link between the past era and the present era, Ayatullah Gul Paigani. May we recite Surah Fatiha for Shifa Maryam. There are 2 or 3 very important announcements which I thought I can make from Mimbar and there's no other way. The second thing is that we have received some information and communication which should interest those mu'mineen who come from Uganda. That we have been told again that this time the government of Uganda is now seriously thinking of giving back the properties of those who have left behind the properties. Now those who have lodged their claims may repeat it, those who have not are still able to do so by January 1991. This time it seems that under international pressure, the government of Uganda is prepared to give back the properties to those who can prove their claim and their proprietorship. This I hope will be understood, and of course those who are willing will kindly contact Uganda High Commission or whoever to find someone who will represent them in Uganda, or they themselves can go and travel and retrieve whatever they have lost. The third thing is that which might seem quite strange, but it is a fact, that with great changes going over everywhere, there is a change in the thinking and the change in the prospects in such parts of the country from where we could have no expectation. Such part of the world. Suddenly we have been receiving letters from Russia, from Soviet Union, not from Russia. Russia is a part of it, Soviet Union, telling us that if mu'mineen are interested to start any project or businesses independently or jointly in such areas where Muslims reside in good number, like Tajikistan and Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan and Baku and Tashkent, the prospects are extremely good and the time is opportune. 1/3 of Soviet Union is Muslim, but for the last 70 years nearly 125,000 mosques were demolished. Now the government has suddenly started giving permission to rebuild, and 2,500 mosques are being built anew in Soviet Union, and all those which were converted into museums and public places are now being given back to Muslims free of charge to repossess them and start the mosque again. But the condition of a young man who was born during those 70 years of communism and has grown old is such that he does not know anything but the answer to Salamun Alaikum. If you tell him Salamun Alaikum, he can reply and say Wa Alaikum Assalam. More than that, he does not know anything about Islam. Now they need muballighin, and they need those who will spread religion, and they will need also those who will go there and work. But if there are mu'mineen who can invest and go there, then it will serve double purpose. One purpose will be to their own worldly advantage. The second will be that their presence there might encourage many Muslims to understand Islam and discuss with them and come to the fold. Now, for those who are adventurous, for those, this community has been adventurous community, I just leave it open. You can communicate with them. There are people who have been there, who are here, and they would like to communicate with business community if they wish to, for anything that they might be willing to start in Soviet Union. There is an opportunity, and a tremendous opportunity, and this is an opening for which there is nothing like a secret file which we would like to keep to ourselves. I say this in public so that everybody, one big and small, can take the advantage of it in whichever way you like. Immigration to that place is easier at the moment, and the receiving end, that means those small governments which form the satellite states of Soviet Union, they are prepared to receive you, they are prepared to help you. And more about this can be arranged. If people are interested, then we can arrange for a meeting with those who have been. I have talked to the president of our Jamaat already this afternoon. Then we can, over a table, talk to the person who has come. He will talk to you and explain to you. But it will require for anyone interested to go there and see for himself. With the limited time now at my disposal, although I said that there was nothing to add as far as family life was concerned, tonight I'm talking not on family life, but I'm talking on dissolution of family life, which is a very serious subject, for which the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that means Allah does not sit on that throne, but that means the power of and the might of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala trembles and shivers when there is a mention of talaq. When someone mentions talaq, the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shakes. It is not an easy thing. And the Prophet said, had it not been of absolute necessity, sometimes I would have made it haram. But there are times when there is no alternative. Rather than continue and drag lives of two who cannot in any way continue, there is got to be a separation. So it is not as easy as we have understood these days, that for little differences there is immediately an application for talaq, either from the boys or from the girls. Talaq is not a joke. After having joined them in matrimony, two people having come from diverse families, from different families, different backgrounds, have got to understand that they are coming from different backgrounds. Therefore, it will take time to learn the habits of each other. In Islam, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said always, he recommended this. Many people think it was otherwise, but it was not otherwise. It was this way, that he recommended that marry from different families. He has not recommended marriage of the closest cousin. He has not. That is something else. If you find that there is a girl very close in the family, and you just, as we do within the family, decide, the ladies say that your daughter is for my son and my son is for your daughter. But actually, recommendation was that we marry outside the family. Why? So that the intellect of that family and your family combine to produce a generation which will have a new talent and faculty. He said that physically also they will be stronger, and mentally also they will be stronger. Well, When this is understood, then we have children who have come from various circumstances, and there the new household starts. There's bound to be a clash in the few initial days. That does not mean that immediately after 3 months they say, we are now disenchanted and we would like to have divorce. That is not a joke. If this has been understood, on Islam there have been some objections. Some say that the right of divorce has not been given to a woman. The right of divorce has been given to man, and man exercises it the way he likes. That is not understood properly. The right of divorce was given to man because divorce is not nikah. Nikah is a bilateral contract. It's a contract both have got to sign. Nikah is not aqd. Nikah is what is called babul iqar, where someone has got to be given the authority, the power to initiate it, and the man has been given. Why? I sometimes give this example. Woman, in spite of all that one may say, scientifically, socially, modern civilization verdict, whatever, there is no doubt that woman is more emotional, more driven by passion, more prepared to give herself away. Sheikh Murtaza Mutahari in his book writes that a man proposes and is able to sacrifice, but a woman is different from man. Woman loves and is prepared to sacrifice. She knows how to express her affection, and once having expressed her love and expression, she will forget herself for the sake of her husband and her children. That forgetting, self-effacement with affection and love can only be seen in a woman and not in a man, because she is more emotionally inclined, she is more passionate. And that, while being an asset, is also a liability, because then for divorce she can decide on an impulse that I want to divorce, and that impulse is avoided by Islam. One alim had married, of course, very happy with his wife, but every night he has got to read a book. He has got to read books. After all, those who have the habit of reading, they know you have to read books. And ulama have got to read books. Sometimes they have to spend whole night reading books. Then, newlywed, the wife one day, 2 days, 3 days, every night the husband is just reading, talks to her for 2-3 minutes and then reads. So one day she said, are you married to me or to this book? If you are married to this book, then I'm going back to my mother. In this house, it can be either this book or it can be me. There can be no third thing. What will happen? That book even today is known as Qutbi. So he said either Amina Bi or Qutbi. There can't be third one. Why? Because she cannot tolerate that. She wants that passion. And then she ran away to her mother. Alim goes to mother-in-law and says, why she has run away? Well, she has a problem with you. You are the most unsuitable husband. Why? Because you read too much. That is one. And it is said for Allama Hilli that he had written a book, a small manuscript. In those days they were not printed. And he was guarding it. His wife was an alim, alima. His wife was also a learned person. And she knew what he was writing. He was guarding it. One day, a friend comes to the wife of Allama Hilli and says, do you know one thing? Allama has married again. He has taken a second wife. That's all. The moment she said that, the friend said that, The wife got wild with anger. Oh, so Allama has married again. What wrong have I done? Am I not serving him? Am I not kind to him? Am I not a loving wife? What does he need another wife for? And all that started in her thoughts. And immediately she was so excited that she took all that manuscript and put in the well and said, he will know when he comes back. And when he came back, Allama Hilli, he said, where are those papers? He said, ask the second wife. So where is that second wife? There is no second wife. You're trying to hide from me, but I get the news. I am not hiding anything from you. There is no second wife. Somebody has just instigated. Because of that softness and the impulsive nature of womankind in general, they can be instigated, they can become victims of instigation. That is the reason why talaq, being such a major issue in life, is not in their hand. It is in the hands of a man. And even man is being told that there are several things in your minds. There can be no talaq while you are angry. There can be no talaq while you are under pressure. Talaq has got to be done with coolness and dispassionate decision. Although very few people tell that a bride can lay a condition at the time of nikah. A woman can put a condition at the time of nikah, not afterwards, to say that I will have equal right of divorce given to me from my husband without he losing it. That means both of us. The power is to be delegated by the husband to the wife for divorce without he himself also losing it. That is possible provided the condition is laid at the time of nikah and provided the husband agrees. Third thing, there are 6 to 7 circumstances in which Hakim-e-Shara will immediately enter to separate the woman if she is being unjustifiably dragged into a matrimony. Because we have most unreasonable people sometimes. I will not maintain her, I don't want her back. I will not feed her, I don't want children, I don't want this. If she wants a divorce, let her pay me 25,000 pounds. But I will not maintain her, I will not give her, I will not do. There are people like this. You go and explain to them that, Baba, if you don't want her back, if the marriage has irretrievably broken, then please give divorce. No. And in our original Kachhi or Kathiawadi terminology, who ene latkavis. This is not true, because in Sharia, you cannot do this. And if you do that, immediately Ayatullah al-Khui, Ayatullah Gul-Paigani, or whoever is the marja, can be approached and the explanation given, and he will appoint a wakil and talaq will be read. And the woman will be freed from that bondage. So those people who believe that the power is in our hand and we can play with the lives of women the way we like, they are mistaken. They don't know fiqh. For example, if a man is a permanent boozer and drunkard, and the wife tells Mujtahid that he is a permanent boozer and drunkard, and he drinks so much that he can't even look after the family, and I want a divorce and he is not divorcing me, the Mujtahid will call that person first, admonish him, give him a warning, and give him time, reasonable. If he does not change, the Mujtahid will read divorce. 2. If a husband has been imprisoned for an unreasonably long period, the wife can go to Mujtahid and say, I cannot live without a man, without husband, for 10 years, for 12 years, I want a divorce. Divorce will be read. 3. If he does not maintain, that means the wife is at home, but he is not giving even maintenance, food, clothes which are wajib, she can immediately go to the Mujtahid and the mujtahid will warn him and tell him to provide. And if he does not provide, there will be talaq. Fourth, if there is a question of importancy, the mujtahid will immediately intervene. If the man is inactive and unable to perform as a husband, and if he also refuses to divorce, the mujtahid will intervene. So there are 6 to 7 circumstances in which, if a woman is being beaten cruelly, beating, many people say, "Ito Quran mache maro." They read Quran the way I said, "La taqrabus salat wa antum sukara." They read half of it and half of it. How has Quran advanced the idea of final corporeal punishment? They don't want to read. Allah says, first explain, give admonition. Then, if they don't understand, if your wife, God forbid, does not even then understand, first renounce her from your bed. That means don't sleep together with her. That means she may be deprived of your company in bed. If that also does not work, فَضْرِبُوهُنَّ, then try that she may be brought back to senses by beating. Not that for not putting salt in the curry or for having misplaced salt for sugar. Just slap your wife, or blows, or sometimes we have seen with these very own eyes the physical torture that one cannot even describe. To whom? To your own wife. Till the doctors have to write medical reports about it. What a shame it is. That has not been. When there is a cruel beating, she can rise immediately and go to an a'la mujtahid through the wakil. And alhamdulillah, one of the wakils in this country, I am myself, but I don't mean that I'm inviting such problems. But if people don't know, they may know that there is a wakil in England already who can exercise that right once instructed by Ayatollah al-Khoury. Where women can be saved, it's not that women are, as they are told, that you have got no right for divorce, therefore continue. No. What you have been told is, be patient, sabr, as much as you can. For good days will come, and someday your husband will realize, and when your children will grow up, inshallah, you will be happy. That is why we tell them that it is not easy divorce. But when things become irretrievable, as circumstances I have explained, then of course, if the husband tries to be stubborn and obstinate, there is a way out. But the moment an application comes in for divorce, it does not mean that we immediately call people and say, "I beso talaq padai chhe." It has got to be first reconciled. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives a formula in Quran how to reconcile. He says, call representatives from his side and representatives from her side, meet together and bring about a solution, and Allah will reconcile. Wallahu in yuwaffiqhuma, Allah will make them successful. In yurida islahan yuwaffiqhumullah. If they really intend to reconcile, Allah will help. So we first make an effort at that. Sometimes even when the ladies used to come to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam for flimsy reasons, they used to come even in the days of the Prophet, for very feeble, flimsy, ridiculous reasons to come and say, "Ya Rasulullah, I want divorce." And the Prophet would ask, "Why?" And she says, "Because my husband is a short person, I want a tall one." Yes, he is not handsome, or whatever. And the Prophet used to tell, "Go back. Don't you feel ashamed to say this? For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created men of different stature. Where were you when you accepted her in nikah? Didn't you see? Don't bring with this. These are the shaitaniyah reasons of devils which come in. And I say this because, especially these days, when in this country there have been set up advisory bureau advising people, especially women, how to live happily after being divorced. The council will provide you free house, or perhaps will subsidize the house, that you will be a single parent and you will have so many of advantages and this and that, and you can live happily ever after. Now, because of such advices that the ladies are getting, we find that they are being encouraged towards divorce for reasons which are sometimes difficult even to understand. Because of educational jargons that we have nowadays. There are many new words which have come in, which our elders did not know, happily. For example, because she is educated, she comes and says, Salaam alaikum, I want divorce. Just like that. Just like going to the bank counter and say, I want cash. But what for? Mullah Sahib, we are just not a compatible couple. This new word compatible has been taught by the new civilization. Now what is this compatibility? You see, he likes purple dress and I like blue. Is there incompatibility? There have been cases where incompatibility has made us laugh. Is that incompatibility? If we can't resolve such problems as are so ridiculous, then we haven't understood marriage. That is one thing. Second thing which has encouraged Allah is the feeling between man and woman that although they are married, and you can understand the implication of the word marriage. Mimbar is the place, I cannot go into details. After having been so intimate and close and married, yet this society, which is called the Western society, inculcates the idea of his and her. In the beginning, it was a very innocent idea. For example, if you go to the toilet, you will find his toilet, H-I-S. Her Majesty's here. Her. His, her. Even soap were kept in two different receptions. His and her. Towels were hanged. His and her. Sandals were kept. His and her. Room, his and her. The car, his and her. Everything started with his and her. It was okay as long as you could. As long as you could afford it, tolerate it. But it went on and on and on and on. Now, look, you will pay for the milk for the children, I will pay for the rent. You will pay for the light, I will pay for the gas. Oh my God. Unthinkable things. You pay for the mango, I will pay for the bananas. Huh? You pay for this and I pay. This is the type of talk which was unthinkable between husband and wife. If a husband cannot understand this much, that whatever is ours, and if he has not been able to be so faithful to the wife, that even if she is earning her income at home, to understand that it is not wajib upon the wife to contribute. Not wajib at all. It is only for the husband to maintain the family. When the wife gives, she is giving voluntarily. It is not wajib upon the wife to give. It is wajib upon the husband to provide. The wife may refuse. She has a right of proprietorship. The property of a woman in Islam is hers, not husband's. She may say, I am not contributing. Let us cut our coat according to our cloth. We will reduce our expenses, but we will live on your wage, not on mine. Husband cannot say that you have to pay. When they give in, they are obliging. When the wife gives her packet to the husband, she is proving her love and affection for the family. than to talk about petrol from me and gas from you and light from me and bananas from you and the children's milk from you and the towels from me. Or when the wife comes, it's a shame. Something which we never thought of has come into our lives because of this new civilization, which is out and out un-Islamic. There was a time when it was said that if the father, Islam says this, if the father rises and sees his son's caught here, he puts a hand in and brings out money, that £5 or £500, whatever. The son has no right to say, Papa, you have stolen or you have taken without my permission. He just has no right. Islam says that the property of the son belongs to father also. But of the wife, no. Of the wife belongs to the one. You just cannot raise and open the purse and say, because it's my wife's, it is her property. If you want those £5, say please. And she can refuse. So, if we had understood this, there would have been no problem. There is no his or hers. It is ours. What will happen when the children are grown? There is a young boy and a young girl. You say, this boy is yours, this girl is mine. It's ours. So, this idea of his and hers has really demolished the whole family fabric. And it's for this reason that we are having problems. What is needed now? The children intend to get married. Either the parents sit and tell them what is going to come next and understand, or a society, that is a community, appoints a bureau, not for solving the problems of divorce, but first for teaching them what marriage is and what engagement means, so that they may live happily together and the divorce may not come. Do you know what is the rate of divorce at the moment? In this community, nobody knows. In our community also we don't know. But files after files, papers after papers pile up. Sometimes we come to 30, 40 divorce pending cases in one small Jamaat. And if you go deep into it, it's nothing. Either disturbances from there, interferences from there. It can be resolved, it can be solved. Only if people understood that after all this, there is death. There is death. There is accountability and answerability to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If women were told from beginning what is the meaning of a husband, and if the husband was told from the beginning what is the meaning of a wife, there would have been a difference. I'm talking this because all these things are brought as objections against Islam. Islam has solved it. Christianity has no divorce. Hinduism had no divorce. Church of England does not approve of divorce. Courts may give divorce, but the church does not. Islam came with this. The Western civilization at that time, the scholars of West, criticized Islam. Today they have understood the wisdom of divorce. It is absolutely necessary at the stage when we cannot reconcile, which we may say is a necessary evil. It can't continue. If we understand this, that it is a very extreme case that we talk of divorce, and not otherwise, then inshallah ta'ala, our family lives will be quite different from... We used to be told that in order to reduce divorces, we must have two things. One, education to the extreme, so that the educated boys get educated wives. We agreed. Two, that they may be allowed to see each other and understand. We agreed. Islam, as I said earlier, allows that they meet and talk, provided the intention is marriage, not shopping. Secondly, education, Bismillah. We tried both. The higher the education, the more complicated the reasons became. And then There was a time when I used to be in the Africa Federation. People used to come up with great rhetorics and oratorial contests on the forum saying, Mullah Sahab, you are educating the boys, what about the girls? Who will take our girls? Who will take the hands of our girls in marriage if you only educate the boys? At that time I was really shaken. But what happened is that I came to London in 1973, when I was not even living here. I met those boys. And I also met those girls who had this complaint. And I told the boys then, why don't you get married here with these highly sophisticated, educated girls of the community? And the answer they gave was, we would rather have half-educated of East Africa. Why? We said, we want wives. We don't want bosses. They told him, he told me here. We want wives. We don't want that sort of equality which was going to bring the whole family loggerhead. And to the woman who is educated, she says, I now am prepared to get married to a fairly educated person. Don't give me an ignorant, illiterate partner, but give me a fairly. I am a doctor. It's not necessary that my husband be a doctor. So the question of compatibility is not on education. Sometimes you may have an educated animal. What you need is an enlightened man to get married to so that you may have a happy life. We agreed to both. That was not the answer. The answer is to understand what are the duties and responsibilities of a partner in life. If that is understood, inshallah ta'ala, everything should be all right. May Allah prevent us from the calamity of divorces. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.